if you do like a standing balance pose and you're locking the knee, you're actually standing with a slight twist. And that actually has an impact.
I was doing like a lot of cardio before, so it's just like all the time.
Yeah,
And
so
after that, I started to hurt.
yeah, a lot of instability happens in the knee. Yeah.
But when we go into forward fold,
Of lock. What I'm talking about is hyperflexing.
okay.
Because when you hyperflex, so go into hyperflexion, that's not hyperflexion. Hyperflexion is just pushing the thigh back, but don't use this guy. That's not good. But using this guy,
This is
good.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
What's going on? There's like a whole construction happening.
Not my expertise.
It's a good idea. Sure.
Exactly connecting the topic, maybe it will be interesting for the whole audience, but sometimes when I do like different things, it's either my knee or from here, it's like clicking.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. We just talked about
Okay.
clicking. I will.
Okay, okay.
I will explain clicking now. Okay, we'll be starting in 2 minutes. It's getting more and more complicated. Yeah, there's gonna be something. It's gonna drop down from the ceiling. Yeah, I know. You just have a drone hovering there and just kind of going around. That's like super cool. I mean, that's next level. And Nord's in the yeah VR goggles on it. How much is a drone? And Nord's just there, and he's got Nord's picture on it, and he's like, "What do you want? Hi, hi." Okay, okay, let's continue. Everyone, okay? Is your brain still on? Everyone, I need to, I need to probably do something about this because I see dullness in your eyes. I see a little bit of dullness. Everyone, downward dog. Get into downward dog. Just bend your knees and stick your butt out. And start walking your downward dog. Taking your butt from side to side. So as you press your heel down, swing your hips away from your ribs. Swing your hips from side to side. Okay, start to walk your legs towards your hands. And slowly come up. Wiggle around. Just wiggle around a little bit. It was for me. Why are hips sexy and this is not sexy? When we talk about the chakras, you will know. Okay. Okay, everyone sit down. I'm sorry, it's over. So we're talking about the hips next. we're, ta- we're talking about the hips. And this is where the whole lower body comes together. Okay, so now let's talk about the pelvis. So, so turn the page on your manuals. There we go. Okay, so that's page 90, yes? Let's go through the anatomy first. Okay, so we're talking about the pelvis, and we've got my friend Rama here to help us. Just moving forward a little bit. Okay. This whole thing is called the pelvis. But the pelvis itself is divided into sections. First, you have the ears of Mickey Mouse. They look like the ears of Mickey Mouse, right? And that's called the ilium. So the ilium is like the upper part of the pelvis that flares out. And this is actually the container for your guts. You can feel the top bit of the ilium. This is called the iliac crest. So the top bit of the ilium is called the iliac crest. And you can feel it. That's what people term their waist. So your waist is the iliac crest. Now, these two round things here, they look like the eyes of the alien. So look on the picture and you see like the eyes of the alien. That's the ischium. That's the other side of your pelvis. In normal terms, this is called the sitting bones. Because if your pelvis is well aligned when you sit, those two knobs will be on the ground or on your chair. So if you're sitting on the ground and you bend your knees and you stick your butt out, you go like this, you should feel those two sitting bones rubbing against the floor. The issue is also where your hamstring comes from. Your hamstring drops down from the ischium. and inserts in both sides of your tibia. When you tear your hamstring in yoga, sometimes you don't tear here. You tear up here and your butt hurts. It's called yoga butt syndrome. That's actually a medical term. Yoga butt syndrome is when you tear your hamstring in a yoga class and you think that your butt is tight because you feel it here at the sitting bone. But you don't know it's the hamstring because you didn't study anatomy. You just feel like, oh, my butt feels really tight. So you stretch it more and it hurts more. That's called yoga butt syndrome. And that's a common injury of yoga. Okay, so the next time you feel pain here in the sitting bone, consider that you overdid your hamstring stretches. And you need to contract the hamstring to fix it. Okay, just a side note. Okay, so aside from the ilium and the ischium, we also have the front part of our pelvis here, which is called the pubic bone. And you can feel it on you. When you go into locust and you're really bony, you're going to feel it hit the floor and it feels uncomfortable. Okay? So that's the pubic bone. The back side of the pelvis is actually the bottom of your spine. So I'm going to turn Rama around and you can see this part. This is the bottom of his spine and the back side of his pelvis. So that part of you is not part of the pelvis. It's actually part of the spine and it's called the sacrum. The sacrum is the base of the spine. The base of the spine. And in an adult, the sacrum is one piece, like a spade. It's like the base of your spine buried in the flower pot that is your pelvis. Okay, so this is your pelvis, and your sacrum is like a puzzle piece that fits on it. But it moves. The sacrum can glide. We call it nutation. Kind of glides a little bit like this as you move. It does glide a little bit. It's not fixed and glued together. Interesting about the sacrum. If you've ever carried, let's pretend Rama is a baby and I'm carrying him like this. If you've ever carried a little baby like a 1-year-old or a 1.5-year-old, you know, they're starting to express themselves more. You carry a 1.5-year-old toddler, even at maybe 2-year-olds, but 1.5-year-olds is more dramatic. And they're upset with you. Okay? So they're upset with you, and so they just kind of fling themselves backwards and they're like, ah! And they're hanging like that. Has that ever happened to you? Toddler throws itself backwards and it's going, ah! Adult can't do that because you've got your hands on their pelvis and their whole entire spine is dangling backwards like this. They can do it because their sacrum is not fused. Sacrum, when you're a baby, is like this. Those 5 baby bones are not fused. That's why the toddler can throw itself back when it's pissed at you. But an adult can't do that because our sacrum is solid. The sacrum in a child is completely fused maybe in between 6 and 10. Below 6 years old, it's completely not fused. And that's why in kids yoga, this is not a good pose for a child to do. Because their sacrum is not solid yet. And in fact, they might complain of back pain if you make them do the warriors. But you can put them in the wheel. You can have them grab the legs upside down. You know, you can have them, they'll just kind of jump into this position and fling themselves back and lift up. Because their sacrums are not fused. You know, it's very interesting thing about teaching kids yoga. You feel so stiff. You're the stiffest person in the room. because you really are. Okay, so that's the sacrum. Okay, right. So these four parts of the sacrum, the iliac crest, the ischium in the bottom, the pubic plate in the front, and the sacrum in the back, they form like a box or like a flower pot. And your spine is growing out of that flower pot. This is the flower pot of your pelvis. Your spine is growing up from that. Imagine a real flower pot with a real plant. If I took this flower pot and I tilted it sideways, what would the plant do? Try to find a way to grow upwards. And when you turn it back upright, now the plant is slanted. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? If I tilted the flower pot forwards, the plant would try to go upright. And if I turn the flower pot back upright, now the plant is a little disfigured. This is what happens to our spine when our pelvis is in the wrong position. And so human beings have three different kinds of tilts depending on our habits with our pelvis. Okay? And in the modern day, it's usually because of the way we sit, because we sit too much. So, I'm going to take this. This is the worst invention that we ever created. This is the worst and most dangerous invention that man has come up with. The second one is the shoe. Okay? The first one is the chair. So, my dad is in the military. And when your dad's in the military, they kind of train you the way they're trained. So, to sit for meals, I had to sit at the edge of the chair, put my sitting bones on the edge of the chair, and I have to have my back completely straight. And of course, your elbows you couldn't slouch. You have to be like this. Eat your meal like that. Okay? Most of us are told to sit up straight, whether you're back here or not. Okay? If you listen to your mom and dad when you were a kid, what will usually happen if you sit here all the time like this is the hip flexor. The hip flexor is the muscle that drives your thigh bone towards you. And when you sit like this, your hip flexors become really tight. They become really tight and start to move towards each other more. Imagine this is my hip flexor. It's now tight. So when I stand up, my pelvis stays this way. And I end up doing this. And I end up walking like this. Okay. And when I do a back bend in yoga class, oh, my back really hurts. Understand me? This is when the flower pot is tilting forward. So this is the flower pot. See that? This is called anterior pelvic tilt. Your flower pot is tilting forward. Your iliopsoas group is tight. Your abs are loose. And your back is tight. And when you try to do a back bend, it hurts. But guess what? Your forebends are awesome. Because your pelvis is in the right position to bend forward, but in the wrong position to bend back. So it has its good side. Yeah, it's got the good side. Okay. Some of us did not listen to our parents growing up. Most people listen to your parents. Some of you, your parents are like, sit up straight. And you're like, no way, man. I ain't sitting up straight. Then you're on your laptops like this. So when you stand up, this is called a posterior pelvic tilt because the flower pot is tilted backwards. So your hip bones stick out. you have pain in the shoulders and neck, and your forward bends are shit. But your back bends are beautiful because your hips are in a good position to bend back. Yes,
But I've heard both ways, like when sitting straight is not good, when sitting like that is not good either. What is the best practice on a chair?
don't. Don't sit. Don't sit. Okay? Don't sit. Um, the neutral pelvis is when the flower pot is straight. Your spine is straight. Ideally, we should be neutral when we're upright. We should stick our butt out and go into an anterior tilt when we bend forward. And we should scoop our tailbone slightly in when we bend back. Got it? But if you're upright, you want neutral. How does neutral look like? Your belt line is even. It's not slanting down to the front. It's not slanting to the back. It's even. This is what we call a neutral pelvis. So there are three pelvic positions that people may have in this world. Neutral, anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Fortunately, this can be corrected. You're not born this way. You end up this way because of habit. And if you do the right things, you can change it. You know, my dad was in the military, right? And so I sat this way, and then they put me in gymnastics. So you're doing your tumbling around, and after you're like, so after a while, I walk like this. And because they did a lot of strong things with your upper body, I walk like this. It's how I walked when I was a kid. Then after a while, I got introduced to belly dancing. you, you learn to do this, right? You learn to do that. And one day, there's a point to the story, I promise. one day, then one day I was walking towards my belly dance class and I noticed something. I'm like, ah! Because I had hips, right? So anyway, the thing is, when you start doing this all the time, what happens is you learn a new reality. And one day I was washing my dishes on my sink, and I had my hips on my sink, and I was washing the dishes like this. I looked down like, oh shit, I think I've gone too far. I had a posterior tilt. And when you have a posterior tilt, and you go to a yoga class, and the teacher says, scoop your tailbone in, and you're like, and you're going to warrior two, and your teacher goes, scoop the tailbone in, and you're like, because you're already scooped in. What teachers don't tell you is actually, if you have a posterior tilt, you need to stick your butt out. Not everyone in the world needs to scoop their tailbone in yoga. It depends on which tilt they have. Maybe 60-70% of the world have an anterior tilt, and we'll see this in a while. But a smaller percentage have posterior tilts. And an even smaller percentage is actually in neutral. And where your hips are will determine whether you need to scoop your tailbone. So yes, keep saying scoop your tailbone in because most of your class will need it. But after class, you come up to the unicorns, you come up to them, you say, no, whenever I say that, stick your butt out. You understand me? Because that's what they need to do. But most people will need to scoop the tailbone in. So let's find out what kind of tilt we have. Shall we? Okay. Work with your partner because maybe you need to talk to someone to figure out where is your butt sticking out or are the tops of your thighs sticking forward. Here are the hallmarks. If I have an anterior tilt, this is called lordosis. I have pain in the lower back all the time. If I have a posterior tilt, this is called kyphosis. I have pain in neck and shoulder all the time. I might have both, but it might be my position, it might be other things. So let's work with a partner and try to figure out each other's pelvic tilt. Go. You might need to lift their shirt to check if they're. Look at the slant of the tailbone. If the tailbone is slanting backwards, that's an anterior tilt. If the tailbone seems to be tucked in, that's a posterior tilt. And then I'm going to make them line up by pelvic tilt. Then it's going to help them when they see each other. They can learn. Remember, some of you might be neutral. Stand up. Anterior tilt.
Anterior.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, anterior tilt.
I always thought posterior.
No, no, no. Look at your hip line. Let me take a picture for you. Lift your hands. Let me take a photo for you. Oops.
Wow.
You'll see it. There it is.
Oh
See how
my
the
god,
belt
yes,
line?
yes.
It's a very, very deep anterior tilt.
So the interior is when it
That's
goes.
anterior,
Oh,
where your butt's
that's
sticking
why
out.
when I do Tadasana, I should go. I have to go back.
Yeah.
I always have to go back because I'm
Yes.
not really
Because
straight.
you're not really straight. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Anterior. And how do I fix it?
We'll talk about it. But first, we need to know what's going on. You have question?
Well, we did work out somewhat neutral. Maybe I think I'm more anterior, I think.
You're a little more anterior, but more on neutral, yes. Yeah, just a little anterior, but not much.
I'm more neutral than I am.
Yeah. If you look at my hand, it's completely going downwards, yes? So she is actually more neutral, but her hips aren't sticking out. She's got a little bit of a crease. So this would be neutral. This would be neutral. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to tell all of you the answer. I'm not here to give you the answer. I'm here to make you find the answer. Did you raise your hand if you know whether anterior or posterior? Again, if your butt sticks out, you're anterior. If you have a flat butt or no butt, you're probably posterior. You have a butt, it's just introverted. It needs to come out. Your butt needs to come out. I love it. I love anatomy.
You're really funny way of describing it. And you love stories.
They're complete. Yes.
It just sounded like we definitely have one tendency. So that's what we want to figure out. There's no option to don't have to have nothing.
Yes, that's neutral. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty neutral. Just a little bit of anterior. So lift your pelvic floor just a little bit. There you go. It's actually you're neutral. Yeah.
I was wondering.
And you're probably just a little anterior as well. If you pull up just a little bit, draw your ribs in, drop your ribs a little bit, down this way. There you go. And then pull up here. There you go. There, now you're neutral. So it's just a little bit towards neutral.
Okay, so I'm just sitting too much.
Yeah, if you like did a stretch for your hip flexors more, you would be in neutral. Yeah.
So anterior, you said.
For you, you're just a little, both of you are just a little anterior, but really close to neutral.
So
Just yeah, so it's very small adjustment. Small adjustment.
Saying she has pain.
In where?
little lower back.
Yeah,
always.
because you're anterior tilted. It makes perfect sense, but if you learn how to do this, The pain's gonna go away.
But it's like I suck my butt in.
Yeah, a little. What's wrong with that? You're still sexy.
No, 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 no. Because I don't know if I can walk like that.
No, because you're not used to it yet. The more used to it you get, you can walk like that. You just need to get used to it. See how I'm taking my hand to my rib cage and to my pelvis and I'm closing the gap a little? You can still walk. You're just not used to it, right? You're not used to it. So if you close the gap between your hip and your pelvis, so you drop your ribs in and you pull your navel up.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That's to get you to neutral. One, two, three, go. Pull your navel up.
Because
Drop
I'm
your
like
ribs.
this.
Yes, that's right. So we need to go the other way. Pull your navel up. Drop your ribs. Don't lean back. Just drop your ribs down. There.
This is neutral.
That's neutral.
I have to remember the
You have to
sensation.
remember the sensation. So put your hands here and then put your hands here and this has to drop down. Make this drop down and make this come up. There. Drop down and come up. There. That's neutral. And it's a little bit feels weird at first.
Yes.
The more you get used to it, the better it's gonna feel. Okay. Let's line people up by pelvic tilt. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. All the anterior tilt people to the left side of the chair. Neutral people beside the chair. Posterior tilt people to the right side of the chair. Let's see. Hang on. Depends on your pelvis. I think you're in neutral. Yeah, you're in neutral because your butt's not going in and it's not sticking out. So I think you're in neutral. That looks neutral. Your belt line's pretty even. Okay, so you be by the chair. Everyone neutral by the chair. Line up that way by the chair. Everyone in the posterior tilt on the left of the chair. Okay, neutral, go and line up by the chair. Are you neutral? You're posterior, I can tell your hip bones are sticking out. I found the unicorn! Okay, come here. Okay, let's look at you. Okay. So tailbone is just straight down. Neutral. Okay, for you, you're anterior for sure. Yeah, so you're over there with everyone else. Okay. You're anterior, you're not in the right line. Go over there. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's check your hips.
What?
Yeah, I'm looking at your hip line. Yeah, okay. Hmm. Yeah, okay, neutral. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Neutral. Must be neutral. Okay. Okay. So as I said, most of you, when the yoga teacher says scoop your tailbone, you're gonna really say, oh yeah. Some of you will not need to do anything. You're already in neutral. So you can ignore the teacher. You guys need to stick the butt out. When, because it's in hiding. If you stuck it out more, it will be more confident and radiant. Okay, so you gotta
You guys have to help me out.
get it out there.
Yeah, let me know.
You understand? The reason why your butt looks flat is your tailbone's over scooping. If you stick your tailbone out a little bit, your butt will be revealed. Okay?
This is where I'm going wrong.
Okay? Okay. So this is a slice of the human population. And this is what you're going to find in your yoga classes. Okay? And so you're going to go into warrior 2 and say scoop the tailbone. But you've already told the two unicorns in your class, every time I say that, stick your butt out. So they already know. The neutral people can ignore. The only time the neutral people really need to pay attention is when the teacher says, stick your butt out, bend forward. You guys don't need to do that. You're already sticking your butt out. But the ones that need to listen are the neutral people and the posterior tilt people. Every time you bend forward, you have to stick your butt out. Because if you don't, you're going to overstretch some part of your back. And also, neutral people need to listen when the teacher says, scoop your tailbone and bend back. You guys even more need to listen. Scoop your tailbone, bending back. Otherwise, you're going to have pain in your lower back. You guys can ignore the teacher because you're already scooped in. You just need to go and bend back. Got it? And that's how hip position impacts your yoga. Okay, so I need to borrow one of the unicorns. I will borrow you. Can I have someone with the worst pelvic tilt? Look for someone with the worst anterior tilt. Compare. And if you've got, if there's someone there who has a worse pelvic tilt than you, go sit down. Okay, let's find the last person standing. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, everyone sit down.
Yeah, dude, I totally thought I was the opposite.
Okay. Can is it possible for you to like tie your shirt up so they can see your yeah, I need them to see your pelvis a little bit. Yes. Okay, good. I'm going to get them both to do the warrior 2 for you. Okay? So you're going to follow me. You're going to step your right foot forward and you're going to turn your left foot sideways and you're going to face the left side and drop into the warrior 2. Okay? Both of you do the warrior 2. Can you see the difference? Watch what happens. Both of you do what I tell you, okay? Scoop your tailbone in. Scoop your tailbone in more. Scoop more. What's happened? She looks better. She doesn't. Don't listen to me. Stick your butt out. There. Now they look the same. Okay, thank you. That's it. I just wanted to show you that. Okay? I've been announcing this to the world because people need to recognize that you need to look and see what's happening in your class and not try to. We're not all photocopies of one body. We are unique, we are different, and therefore the way you treat your students should reflect that. The more you have a personal connection with each student in your class, the more likely they are to come back to you. What's going to happen if you say, okay, everybody scoop the tailbone? Must have your foot 45. Must have your heels on the ground. The moment you start doing that and speaking like that, you're going to lose people. Because if they don't fall in that very narrow range, they will not stay in your class. Because they're going to feel like, well, I'll just never be able to do it, so I'm just going to go. So if you want to have a bigger class and therefore be more successful, then you better start treating your students as the special, unique beings that they are and not try to make them copies of you or someone else. Okay, so that's the pelvic tilt talk. Okay. So how you move your pelvis will affect your spine. Okay. Let's see if you've listened to me. So when we bend forward, which way should your butt go? Out. When we bend back, which way should your butt go? In. Okay? All right. And so you know already what kind of tilt you have, so you know what you need to do. Let's teach two poses to our friend. The first pose you're going to teach is Uttanasana, the standing forward bend. So your feet are facing forward. You bend the knees. Which way does the butt go? Stick the butt out. And then you come down. Maybe you push the heels outward to go lower. Maybe you start to lift the sitting bones up. Maybe the legs are straight, maybe they're not. Depends on how open your hamstrings are. Sometimes the reason why you have a posterior tilt is because your hamstrings are very tight. And the hamstring, because it's tight, starts pulling on the ischium and you end up tilting your pelvis. It's very tight hamstring. And that's why you need to bend the knees when you bend forward. Okay, the second pose that you're going to teach your friend is the shoulder bridge. And I did it this morning. Remember the shoulder bridge? Gonna lie on your back, scoop the tailbone. Why are we scooping the tailbone? Which way are we bending? Back. So scoop the tailbone and make sure they've done it. And then come up and open the chest. So let's teach our friend these two poses and make sure their pelvis is in the right position. And watch the knees as well in the shoulder bridge. You know what to do with knees, yes? And you know which way your toes and knees should be facing. Forward, not, which means we need to contract our inner thighs. Beautiful. See, you know more than you think. Let's go. Let's teach our friend first. Uttanasana, the forward bend, and then the shoulder bridge. Very good. Very good. Coming. Okay. Mhm. Okay, yes. Come back down. I'd like you to step your heels forward a little so that when you come up, your knees are in line with your heel. Okay? And one more thing, come back down. Scoop the tailbone. Now come up. Now you'll be firing your hamstring more. How does it feel? Now your knee has more support, yes? Yeah. So when you scoop the tailbone, the hamstring contracts and the back of the knee feels more protected. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We are learning English at the same time.
Very good because you'll need it. What you need to learn are all the body parts in English and the direction, right, left, front, back, up, down.
We will learn it. So I lay on my back.
To be clear, what's the cueing when it's like, okay, bend your knees, stick your butt out, stick your sit bones out?
Sitting bones.
Sitting bones.
Sitting bones back.
Sitting bones back. Okay.
Yeah. Sitting bones back. Mm. Have you been taking notes of the way I deliver the information?
Yeah, that's all I'm taking.
Good. Good.
Talking about all your examples and when you put in partners.
Yeah. Okay. All you need to do now is just follow the same procedure, and maybe add your own things.
I think I'll probably follow your down dog alignment
Yeah.
class more and the sun salutation more.
Yeah.
And I noticed you use music. Um,
Do you have to?
I just didn't know if it was preferable for like getting them
You
to
know
flow.
how I turn the music off during alignment?
Yes.
Because it's too much information. Yes.
And um,
One by one. Yes. Okay. You're after.
So when we do the, um,
Yeah.
should we
Ah.
bring our feet close to our bum.
The question is, where is the knee relative to the ankle?
Right, so we want them stacked, right?
You want the stack. So heel lined up under knee.
when we are up?
Now, when you're up, you can actually reach your shoulders for your heels, but don't walk your heels back. Instead, drop your shoulders away from your ears. Yes! This is actually what you should be doing,
Okay.
not walking your heels back.
Gotcha. And
So this needs to happen.
Basically, you want
I have a problem.
Okay, I'll help you.
you work as much as you can with your shoulder.
and
With
when
your shoulder.
and when she's here, we want to tuck our pelvis like
Tuck your pelvis and lift it up. And then open your chest. There you go.
and then our hands can be there or clasped.
Or clasp.
Okay.
Yes.
Good students.
Well done. Okay, lie down. Let me help you.
Then I can't breathe.
Wait, let's fix it. Okay, good. So, first scoop your tailbone. But don't squeeze too hard. Just a small squeeze here. This is still free. Yeah, you're over squeezing. That's why I couldn't breathe. Okay, so just a small squeeze from here. You can still breathe. Yeah. Now lift.
I can't just squeeze here.
But we need to practice.
Yeah.
We need to practice. I'll give them tips on how to improve that. Yeah, so it's just a small tilt.
Okay, and then
And then you come all the way up, up more. That's it. Up, push up. Yeah, that's it. Open this. So don't squeeze here. Do not squeeze. Just lift your rib cage. There you go. That's it. Yeah,
fine.
yeah, that's fine.
So what about here practicing?
So it's not coming from here. See, my abs aren't squeezing in. Only down. Only down. Not here. Okay. Yes, question.
We wanted to check. Just double check if like yeah she's sticking her butt out. That's
She is, and you can tell because look at the slant of her. See, it's slanting backwards. So yeah, so what we need to do is just scoop her a little bit. Drop your ribs. So what you need to do is a little bit of this. There, a little bit of this. So you need to move forward a little.
hard for me
Yeah,
though with my legs because they just go.
yeah, that's why you need to soften your knees a little. Okay, because when you keep going your legs like that, actually you're gonna develop pain here.
Yeah, I do
Okay?
get pain in
Yeah.
my knees anyway.
So if you bend your knees a little and scoop, you're gonna see that you'll get less pain in your knees.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that next.
Okay.
Okay. How did that go? Teaching the forward fold and the shoulder bridge. Okay. You guys look good. I think you know what you're doing.
Can I ask
Yeah.
question?
Yes.
So I have two questions.
Okay.
So like this here, or I can upper here. I need to do this.
That's yeah, go higher.
Go higher.
Yeah, go higher.
But it's I should who has like lordosis, yeah? People who doesn't have, they don't need. I don't need to also.
You don't need to if they have lordosis, you need to get them to scoop before they can go higher.
Uh,
So first, so come back down. The point is, if you scoop the tailbone,
yes, mine.
you will be able to go higher.
Uh-huh.
But you know, for people with lordosis, they might not be able to go as high as other people because they haven't learned how to scoop their tailbone. So what was your question?
No, my question was if I can like this,
Yeah.
if I need to go
This
higher.
is
You say yes.
you yeah, go higher. So your chest has to open and you should just completely go as far as you can. You can in fact reach your shoulders towards your bring your heels in a little bit there so you can actually
Yes.
open more.
And
There you go.
second question is
Shoulders.
shoulders. Yeah, I know. So
Bring them, yeah, you're correct. Bring them away from your ear.
like this.
Yes. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
I thought I
That's a
already.
good bend.
Okay. I thought it's already too much, and I
No,
was
no,
like,
there's no too much. Keep going.
okay.
Yes?
I was just with her checking.
Okay. Okay
With
then.
my support team.
Oh, support team. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can speak some Chinese, but not
So when we're doing a standing pose, the pelvis is answer the question, yeah? Multiple choice. Get you know at the end of this journey you have a written exam. You know that, right? Let's get used to the format, okay? This is a simple question. It's not going to appear. This is not going to appear. I'm just giving you a sample question. When you're doing an upright standing pose, the pelvis is in A, anterior tilt, B, posterior tilt, C, neutral. Which one is it? Neutral. Standing. You're standing. You're not bending forward, you're not bending back, you're just standing. Neutral. So in a warrior two, where is the pelvis? Neutral. So the anterior tilt people need to scoop the tailbone, and the posterior tilt people need to stick the butt out to find neutral. Oh, okay. Yeah, so your belt should be level with the ground. And that's neutral. That's why I was checking your belt lines a while ago, neutral people, to see if you're really neutral or not. Okay? All right. So now let's recap everything that we learned. So at the bottom of page 91, let's combine the theories of lower body applied anatomy, page 91 bottom. Number one, forward bends. First, stick your tailbone out. Then, when you are down, tops of the thighs rotate inwards for increasing the depth of the forward bend. That's clear so far, yes? At the same time, pulling the kneecaps upward to engage the pelvic floor to release the sacrum area. Chinese. Okay. Sorry, I'm not trying to marginalize anyone. Just saying. Most of you didn't understand that. There's a connection between the action of the quadricep and the pelvic floor. Someone came up to me a while ago and said, give me an exercise that will help me to do this. Because I can't really feel my pelvic floor too much. Because I was telling them, just scoop from here, and they kept over squeezing. Some of you might feel that way as well. How can I only contract down here, this is the pelvic floor, without squeezing up here? So I'm going to give you an exercise now for this pelvic floor, and it'll help you with your pelvic floor. A lot of adults cannot connect with their pelvic floor. So you're going to just straighten your legs, and some of you might want to sit on a cushion. And put your hands at the top of your thighs, just right above your knees. When the quadricep contracts, the kneecap flattens and pulls towards you. Check. Make your quadricep contract and check. You feel that? The kneecap has flattened and moved towards you. Yes? Raise your hand if you're able to do that. Good. This is what we're going to do. We're going to add the breath, so sit tall. First of all, the unicorns in the class need to stick their butt out more. And the neutral people need to do it too. Okay? I'm going to count to 4 as you inhale and exhale. When you inhale, you're just going to keep your thighs relaxed. But when you exhale, you're going to squeeze your quads. It helps to blow out through your mouth. So you're going to go inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale and squeeze your thighs. 2, 3, exhaling, yes? Relax, inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, you're squeezing your thighs as you exhale. Got it? Keep going, inhale, 2, 3, 4, squeeze, exhale. 2, 3, 4, inhale. 2, 3, 4, squeeze, exhale. 2, 3, 4, inhale. 2, 3, 4, squeeze, exhale. 2, squeeze more. 3, 4, inhale. 2, 3, 4, squeeze, exhale. 2, 3, 4, inhale. 2, 3, 4, squeeze, exhale. 2, 3, 4, inhale. 2, 3, 4, squeeze, exhale. 2, 3, 4, inhale. Squeeze, exhale. Relax. Did you feel anything here? Raise your hand if you felt some kind of squeeze or pressure happening here as you exhaled. Raise your hand high and proud if you felt that. You were using your pelvic floor. Congratulations. If you did not feel that, you are not using your pelvic floor. So what I want you to do when you squeeze, Those of you that did not have your hand up, I need you to feel the squeeze traveling up your legs and into your groin. We'll do it again. Okay? So as you exhale, you're feeling the squeeze travel up your legs and into your groin. Everyone with your hand up, you don't need to listen to me anymore. You're good. Let's try it again, okay? If you want, prop yourself up with your hands because if you've got the posterior tilt, you won't be able to do it. You need to be in anterior tilt. So use your hands and give yourself an anterior tilt. And we're going to try it again. So on the exhale, you're going to squeeze your thighs and feel the squeeze travel up your inner thighs. Okay? Everyone good? Let's go again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. Exhale. 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. Exhale. Okay, did you feel it now? Raise your hand if you felt it. And a little better. Yes? Yeah, you actually don't. It's just for people who don't know how to do it. Okay? Because there is a link between the kneecaps, the inner leg line, and the pelvic floor. There is a fascial connection. And so it's easy to pull up from here to lift the pelvic floor. Okay? Okay. So, raise your hand if you can now lift the pelvic floor. Can we do it without or maybe in standing position? Everyone stand. As you exhale, you're going to feel your pelvic floor lift. Right? We're inhaling into the ground. Tadasana. Give me your Tadasana. Inhale into the ground. Exhale, lift your pelvic floor. Where is your pelvis? What's your pelvic position? Neutral. So first go to neutral. What do most of you need to do? Tuck the tailbone. What do some of you need to do? You know. Okay, ready. Breathe down into the ground. Exhale up from the ground. Pull your kneecaps up as you exhale. Maybe even engaging your inner thighs to get the pelvic floor to lift. But if you can already do it, forget it. Ready? Let's try. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. Stop. Did you feel a lift in the lower part of you? Raise your hand if you felt lift. It's getting better. Grab a block and put it between your legs. Squeeze it. Last time. Now surely this will work. Yes. You just feel an upward lift. Most people, most yogis are over squeezing the bandhas. Most most proficient yogis are over squeezing the bandhas. It's an upward lift. It becomes more subtle the more advanced you get. So you're not crushing the can, you're holding the rose. Hold the rose, don't crush the can. One last time. Ready. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. 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 Amira, don't lean back. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. Better? Okay. Again, connection between your quadriceps, inner leg line, and pelvic floor. Okay. Have a seat. One last thing that I want to talk about before we end this talk of the lower body. The last thing I want to talk about is hyperextended knees. A hyperextended knee, some people have it. It looks like this because I have it. Yeah. Looks like this. See that? It's a hyperextended knee. When you do yoga with a hyperextended knee, it gives you knee pain. Simply because hyperextended knees actually rotate a little bit. So watch my foot. If I hyperextend my knee, I'm going to flex my foot so you can see which way my knee rotates. Have a look. So here, my foot's still facing up. Here, my foot's still facing up. But once I start getting past 180 degrees, see what happens to my foot. See that? That doesn't happen on the floor because my foot can't move. So what happens is my foot stays there, my knee starts to twist. And if I keep locking out my knees in hyperextension every time I do standing pose, I'm going to feel pain right here because my knee will start rotating. And I might even damage my meniscus in time. So if you have an hyperextended knee, just soften a bit. Instead of doing it back here, just soften a bit and pull up the quadricep. And that's going to keep your knee more stable than if you let it all the way go back. So another place that the hyperextended knee feels pain is behind. So if I do a triangle, for example, a triangle has the leg straight. And I just let my knee go. And this guy is jelly. I'm hanging off my knee joint. And eventually, it's going to give me pain. So if anyone complains of pain back here in the triangle, what you want to do is tell them to soften the knee and do what? Engage the quadricep, which we already talked about. When you engage the quad, it protects the knee. Yes? Awesome. We might talk about that again tomorrow morning when we do the standing poses. Okay? And how to maybe prop the knee to keep it from hyperextending in the triangle. Okay? All right. Any questions about the legs that I didn't cover? We have a few more minutes left. Yes.
It's not the leg, but it's I have problems in the psoas muscle a lot, and I don't know what I have. I
that might be, that sounds like a piriformis. Let's turn to the picture of the pelvis. Look for the word piriformis on the right side. Let me explain to you what this is. You've got a muscle that runs through this hole and comes up here on the top of the thigh bone, called the piriformis. The piriformis muscle takes the knee out to the side like this, the thigh bone out to the side like that. It's part of the abductor group, along with your butt muscle. And when that guy is tight, you feel pain inside of you from where your butt starts to here. And it gets even worse because the sciatic nerve, look for sciatic nerve on your sheet. They share the same hole and the same track. And when the piriformis gets tight, the sciatic nerve sometimes gets a little pinched. And you get something called sciatica. And sciatica is pain around the butt and down the thigh. And sometimes it's like an electric pain. And sometimes, if it's really bad, you grow numb or you feel burning. This is sciatica. Do you have that? Thank God.
But when I'm on my side, it does hurt. I don't know why.
Let me put my hands on you after this. Okay? I'll sort you. Okay? Okay. So the sciatica happens when your butt is too tight and your inner thighs are too weak because the spine is collapsed and so the nerves get pinched. And if your piriformis is tight, it's even worse now. And so how to remedy that? Work the inner thighs and stretch the butt. Eagle pose is a beautiful way of stretching your butt. There are other stretches for the butt that we'll explore. Okay? Yes.
My question that I asked before for the clicking.
So she's saying that she has clicking in her hip and knee,
Hip or knee sometimes.
and you have it in the ankle.
Now if it's happening, then it's cesarean.
If it comes with pain, you have an unstable joint. If there's no pain, it's just air in your body. So clicking is not bad unless there's pain. Anyone else have a question? Rolling in. So her question is, she's pointing, it's the same question you asked me. Stand on here.
And what to do is
Okay.
my usual position.
My dear, come up. Yeah, come up. You're going to give her the answer. Okay, but let her talk first. Take the mic and share with everyone what you just said.
Yeah, so when I'm staying, just like my usual position is like this. I don't know if that's good.
Okay? It's working.
Okay, and no.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. My usual position is like this, and knees like not same like the direction like my feet. Yeah. So to stay like this or what?
Okay. Now, you know the answer, yes?
Yeah, but you told me the answer.
Okay, on this leg in particular. So come down from the stage so you can help her. Sit where I'm sitting and take the mic and answer the question.
Okay.
Okay.
It works.
Let me make it louder. No, I have a loud voice, so I actually turned the mic down. Okay, go.
It's okay. I also.
You have a loud voice. Okay, go for it then.
Okay. So what you can do is to shift the weight on the outer part of the foot. Try to slightly lift the inner part. And then you can immediately see that the knee slightly comes forward.
Okay. Come closer. Get off your butts and come closer.
Okay, I'll try to speak even louder.
Okay, but make sure you can see her foot. So bring it back to rigid position.
Okay, so usually her knees are pointing slightly inward, and when she tries to shift the weight on the outer part of her foot, so lift the inner part, then her knees can start to turn forward. Did you already shift?
Yeah,
Yes, perfect. Or the other option as well?
is to squeeze the butt
Yeah.
more. But for her, if you can see, this foot is rolled in, her arch is disappearing. So if she lifts up the arch a little bit, immediately her knee corrects itself. So when you work Tadasana, you work on lifting the arches up and rolling onto the outer edge of your foot, but keep pressing the big toe down so that you're not collapsing your arch. Everyone got that?
And also for me I felt it especially in chair pose, because in chair pose sometimes the knees
Roll in.
drop inward, and then also shift the weight on the outer part of the foot, because
And
then
even in the warrior too. Yes. Everyone, all right, no? Kaching, golden nugget, clink. Okay. All right, go back. Thank you. Okay. Good. So I think that that's it for our beautiful one more. Okay.
because I have the same problem, right? And you also told us to put the inner part up, but then when we do the forward fold, it's
Yes.
so am I doing it?
Yes, go ahead and roll in forward folds. That's what's supposed to happen. Only in standing. So in standing, knee should be forward. But when you go into a forward fold, definitely roll in. Okay. All good? Okay, that's it then. Let's close our eyes for a moment of silence to allow all this information to sink into your DNA. So close your eyes. You can lie down. Just have a moment of silence so our brains can just absorb. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And if you want, do an energy sweep, rub your hands together and do a little energy sweep to absorb the knowledge even more. And thank you for your attention this morning. It's not easy to be absorbing information like sponges, but you guys did a good job of it. So well done. Enjoy your lunch break, and we'll see you back here at 1:30 at 2:30 for your yoga nidra. For more lying down.